Hi you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ivy if you are new here, and I thought it would be fun to just sit down with you guys today and talk about some books to read this spring. I have a couple of different categories that I thought we could go over, so I wanted to talk about some new releases, some books that I've read that I would recommend for spring, and then also some books that I have on my physical TBR that I would love to get to this spring. But I think I want to talk about new releases first. I am going to pull up my phone for this because I don't have them all memorized. Who does? A lot of these will be released after or before this video is uploaded, so a lot of these are already out by the time you're seeing this, and then a lot of these are on their way out this coming spring. So the first one I have here is Just Friends by Haley Pham. I feel like this is like the book of the spring, the book that everyone's talking about. I think that this is a second chance romance. I believe we're following like then and now timelines, and this is obviously her debut. I do really want to read this, but it's not at like the top of my radar. Like I said, this will be up after that book is released, so if any of you guys have read it and have thoughts, I would absolutely love to hear them and know you guys' opinions. No Matter What by Cara Stone is also coming out March 3rd. She is the author of Ready or Not and Promise Me Sunshine. She writes contemporary romances that have like a more serious underlying plot. This one I believe is following a married couple after an accident. It says after a traumatic accident threatens the foundation of their happy marriage, a young couple tries to rebuild and find their way back to each other. Definitely different than her other two books. Ready or Not is accidental pregnancy, and then Promise Me Sunshine is, I guess the trope would be like forced proximity, but we're following someone who recently lost their best friend. And then this one is a second chance, or I guess it would be kind of second chance, between a married couple who recently suffered a really traumatic accident. Her covers are so pretty. I will say, I think I'm personally gonna wait to see what other people say about this one, because I really liked Ready or Not, but Promise Me Sunshine was just not for me. So I don't know if Promise Me Sunshine was the anomaly for me or if Ready or Not was, so I definitely think I'll wait to see what other people are saying about this one. This one I have not heard anything about, and I think it sounds like such a fun concept. It's called Too Blessed to Stress, and it says it's for fans of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which aren't we all? And I think it's following a group of Christian women who are, let me look it up. I think they're trying to like take down their pastor or something. Yeah, so 4 Christian influencers suspect their megachurch pastor isn't as devoted as he seems. I think it's like a comedy slash thriller. I'm honestly not sure. It says for fans of Bad Summer People and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So I'm definitely interested in this one. I really hope that my Libby gets a copy of it, because I would absolutely love to read that. And then the other March release I have on here is How to Write a Love Story. This is the author that wrote Snowden and Holiday Romance, which are 2 really popular Kindle Unlimited romances. I don't know if like she writes other contemporary romances. I feel like this is the first one I've seen, but she's an Irish author, and I love anything set in like Ireland or England or anything like that. I really don't know what this one's about. Okay, so it looks like an editor travels to Ireland to help the daughter of a really popular fantasy author complete his final book after he passed. Oh, I'm assuming the editor is the guy, and that's how romance ensues. I'm very excited for this one. I do really want to read this one. I really want to read something by Catherine Walsh. I haven't read either of her holiday books. They're on my holiday TBR every year, and I just never get to them. I have 2 April releases. Usually I feel like April is stacked, and April doesn't have too many releases this year, or at least like not a ton of releases that I saw. I feel like usually I'm seeing a lot. This one comes out April 26th. This is by Meg Schaefer, who wrote The Witching Game. No. The Witching Game? No. What is that book called? The Wishing Game. The Wishing Game and The Lost Story. Her books are like cozy fantasies that I believe she takes inspiration from like a classic story, because this one, let me read the description. Rainey March is a proud third-generation book witch, sworn to defend works of fiction from all foes, real and imaginary. With her magic umbrella and feline familiar, she jumps into and out of novels to fix malicious alterations and rogue heroes. Bookwitch lives by this strict: real people belong in the real world, fictional characters belong in the fictional world. Do not eat, sleep, or drink inside a fictional world. It lets you become part of the story. Falling in love with a fictional character, don't even think about it. And then I'm assuming she falls in love with a fictional character. For whatever reason, I thought that this was like inspired by something else, but maybe it's not. There's a book, little side note, there is a book that I think is like inspired by Narnia. Is that the lost story by her? But anyway, this is her new release. I have not read any of her books. I really want to read The Wishing Game, and I'm curious to see what people say about this one because I feel like it kind of has the same vibe as A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. Another April release is The Name Game by Beth O'Leary. A man and a woman with the same name are looking for a fresh start, only to discover that they have landed the same job in this charming new romance by bestselling author Beth O'Leary. Charlie couldn't be happier to take the job of a farm shop manager on a remote, wild Isle of Ormer. I'm assuming that's somewhere in Ireland. Maybe not. I don't know. She's grieving, a little lost, and in desperate need of a fresh start. Jonas has come out of a difficult breakup and is looking forward to making peace away from the noise of his city life. Moving to Omar couldn't have come at a more perfect time. But when Charlie Jones and Charlie Jones both turn up with only one farm shop, claiming to have been offered the role of manager, everyone is baffled. I just think that that sounds so fun. Beth O'Leary has written quite a few other popular romance books. She wrote The Flat Chair, she wrote The No-Show, The Road Trip. So I feel like if you like any of her other books, this one could maybe intrigue you. I definitely want to pick up this one eventually. I think it sounds really fun. And then moving on to May, we have Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. She's the queen of contemporary romance. I do feel like the May releases go a little towards summery vibes versus spring vibes, but I consider May a summer month, so I still wanted to include them. So Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have no idea what this is about, but I have liked every single Carly Fortune book I've read. I want to read all of her books. I know that this has a lot, she did a lot of research on gray whales for this, which is all I need to know. Elsie Silver also has a new book coming out in May, Fever Dream. I think this will be starting a new series for Elsie Silver, the Emerald Lake series. Small town forbidden rivals to lovers romance in a brand new Western romance series called Emerald Lake. Professional bull rider Emmett is not looking for love, he's looking for a paycheck to save his family from bankruptcy. So when he agrees to be the leading man on a new hot reality dating show, Romance Ranch, he's already decided it's all one big performance until Julia walks onto his property. I personally have not read anything by Elsie Silver. My sister has read a ton of books by her, I think like 10 or so, but I think they're probably just airing on a little too spicy for me, but I still wanted to include it because I feel like a lot of people really like her, and I haven't heard anything about this new book, and it comes out in May, so I'm kind of shocked I haven't heard anything about it. And then the last new release I have for May also kind of leans more towards summer, but May is a spring month to me, so I'm including it, and that is Dolly All the Time by Annabelle Monaghan. I absolutely love Annabelle Monaghan. She is seriously one of my favorite, probably my favorite author ever. I've actually already read this book and I loved it. We're following Dolly, who is a single mom. She's a single mom, she's an elementary school teacher, she's very independent, and she goes back to her Rhode Island small town for the summer to help out her dad because her dad's house just caught on fire. It's not like destroyed, like it just needs like a little fixing up. And her dad is also the primary caregiver for his adult son and runs his own business. She goes back to help him and basically falls into a fake dating situation where she can make a decent amount of money to pay for the renovations that her father's house needs from this fire. 100% pick it up, pre-order it now. Then let's move on to some recommendations. This is editing Ivy coming on here looking absolutely insane, but I had finished a book literally I think the day that I filmed this video called Give Me Butterflies by Jillian Meadows. Perfect spring read. It makes me so sad that I did not include it in this video. I hadn't finished it yet, but it makes me so sad I hadn't included it in this video. It is like so atmospheric, not in terms of like the weather, but like the language that she uses, like we talk about a lot about like butterflies and flowers and like the colors, and it is just a perfect spring book, and it is such cute romance. Definitely add it to your spring TBR. I just have to throw it in here because I feel like it is the go-to spring contemporary romance recommendation, and that is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. We've already talked about Cara Bastone. Obviously, this cover like screams spring, but it's actually such a good contemporary romance book. We're following our main character who ends up falling pregnant very unexpectedly to basically some guy she doesn't know, and we're just kind of following her navigate what her life is going to look like, what she's gonna do about this, and a romance ensues between her and one of the other characters in the book, and it is a really, really good book. I really enjoyed it. I definitely think if you want like an atmospheric romance book, I would definitely pick this one up. Then the other book I wanted to recommend that I don't physically own is Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. I absolutely love this book. I wish more people talked about it. I wish more people had read it. We're following our main character, Adelaide, and she is a grad student in England, I believe. And we start out our book with her in the hospital after she has basically had a very serious like mental health crisis. And then we kind of go back to see how we got from point A to point B, like how she got what happened in her life to get her there. And we're mainly following a romance between her and Rory. I have not seen Tell Me Lies, but I did read the book, and I think if you like a messy, toxic look at romance, that you would probably like this. Like if you like that in Tell Me Lies, that you might like this. This is more like literary fiction than a romance. It really is a lot more about Adelaide than Adelaide and Rory. But this book is just so good. I actually just ordered a used copy from Amazon, and I'm planning on giving it a reread. It is amazing. It is like a perfect literary fiction for spring, and I feel like the description sounds very heavy, and it does deal with some heavier topics, but it's not like crazy heavy. And then the next books I actually own copies of. So personally for me, spring means historical romance. I love a good historical Regency romance, and I thought I would pull out my favorite Bridgerton books. I will say the Bridgerton books seem to be very person to person. There are so many videos that I see of people talking about their favorite Bridgerton books, and they're all the Bridgerton books that I would never recommend. So I'm gonna just tell you the ones that are my favorites. Do that with what you will. Maybe pick up the one that you're like the most interested in the character in the show. Maybe if you really liked season 4, pick up Benedict's book. I don't think this is necessarily a series that you need to read all of them. You definitely don't need to read them in order, because like just with how big Bridgerton is right now, like we all know who gets with who. But I'm gonna go through my favorites and my personal recommendations. So the first one I have is The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is Anthony and Kate's story. This is very different than the show. I would go into this thinking that this is just another version of Kate and Anthony. It is not the same as the show. It is very different, but it is still very good. All of the characters, if you don't know, I know a lot of people don't know this. I feel like I see comments all the time. I'm surprised people don't know this. The show is blind casted, or not, it's not technically blind casted, but it's not casted historically accurate, obviously. The books are only white people, so just go in knowing that. I still pictured Miss Kate Sharma in this. I loved this one. I ate it up. This one's probably my favorite. This is An Offer from a Gentleman. This is Benedict and Sophie's story. I love this one so much. If you liked the season of the show, you absolutely need to read it. This is extremely similar to the show. Like they really did follow this plot line so well. I think they did it so well. My favorite in the series. Also, like they do have, any Regency romance, in my opinion, has incredible spring vibes. Incredible. Now, if you want a Bridgerton book that is completely, not necessarily completely different, because they're all Bridgerton, like how different are they going to be? But you don't know anything about it, you don't want to have like a preconceived notion about it from the show, I would really recommend Gregory's book, which is On the Way to the Wedding. I loved this one. I could not believe how much I loved this one. We're following Gregory, who is absolutely enthralled with this girl named Hermione. And he's like, I'm gonna marry Hermione. I'm gonna do whatever I have to marry Hermione. And he ends up befriending Hermione's friend Lucy to basically be like, girl, how do I get with your friend? Like, she needs to be my wife. And maybe something with Lucy comes up. And it's just so good. It is so, so good. The ending was amazing. Literally, this, if you watch season 2 and like Edwina and Anthony are getting married and you're like, how is this gonna work out? This has something very, I don't want to say similar because it's not necessarily similar, but like the same thing happens in this book. There was like 40 pages left and I was like, how are they going to get together? Like, I don't know how this is gonna work out, but you know, it's Bridgerton, so it probably does all work out. This one I loved so much. This one and Benedict's are probably my favorite, and I definitely think that Gregory's book is so underrated. It's the last one, so I feel like it oftentimes just gets forgotten about because people get tired of reading them, which is why I think that you should just skip around and not try to read all of them. They're not all created equal, in my opinion. And then another little romance series I just wanted to talk about briefly because obviously this is so popular. This is Heartstopper. These books have just the happiest, springy, happy, bright, cheery vibe to them. There are discussions of deeper topics in these books, but I feel like they're handled very well, and the books overall still hold a very light vibe to them, even though there are a couple of darker topics talked about in these books. I just feel like they are like perfect for spring. I definitely think that like books set in school often get the reputation that they're fall books, but these to me are books set in school that are 100% spring books. Literally go to Barnes & Noble, buy all of them, and sit down over a weekend and read them all, and then watch the show. They're amazing. And then I wanted to throw a fantasy in here as well. So I decided to pull out The Unmaking of June Farrow. We're following June, obviously, and basically the Farrow women have this reputation that they all go insane. Once they get into like their late 20s, early 30s, they like all go insane. And June is coming up on that age. Are they going insane or is something else happening? This book was so good. Thinking about it, now I'm like, I need to reread it because this is such a good book. I really, really enjoyed it. 100% would recommend. Great spring vibes. A great standalone fantasy. I feel like there's not a ton of like standalone fantasies, and it's a super quick and easy read. You could probably sit down and read it in a weekend. 10 out of 10 recommend. Great spring pick. Now let's quickly go through the books on my physical TBR that I really want to read. I think I have 8 books here. I probably will not get to all of them this spring, which is a bummer because I genuinely need to get through my physical TBR, but let's go through them. The first one I have here is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I would honestly love to get through this entire trilogy this spring, but we'll see if that happens. I'm also so sad that I did not order these all at the same time. I think I actually bought this when I was in Ireland, but Amazon UK used to be pretty accessible and cheap to buy things through. It is not currently. I don't know if it's because of the tariffs. I have no idea, but it is so expensive. It's either expensive or it takes like 6 months, and I wish I could have all of these really, really gorgeous covers. But the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I've just heard that it's very whimsical. All of her books are pretty whimsical, but I don't feel like the Carvel series gives spring vibes whatsoever. These covers give spring vibes, so I would really love to get to them this spring. Another book I would love to get to, I don't really know if it has spring vibes, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is like one of those OG TikTok books that I never read. I actually read Circe by her in 2020. I had to read it. The school that I went to a liberal arts school for like a hop, skip, and a jump, and one of like their traditions was the incoming freshman class all had to read the exact same book, and it was like no matter what classes you were taking, there was something about the book in those classes, like everybody had to read it. And our year it was Circe by Madeline Miller, and I really just did not like it. I think if I reread it now, I might have a different opinion on it because of that experience. I never ended up picking this book up, but I just feel like it sounds like something I would really, really enjoy. It might be a little bit more summery. Either way, I would really love to get to this. at some point this spring. This book I feel like is kind of an interesting pick for spring, and that is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I read The 7-Year Slip in February and really liked it, and I have 2 more of hers that I physically own and would really like to get to both of them this year. This one I actually heard from Lottie Smalley that the vibes are spring. That like even though a lot of people read it in the fall because it's surrounding like a dead person, people think it's like fall vibes or like spooky season vibes, I guess, but it actually has like really good spring vibes. So I really want to read this spring. Honestly, I like kind of want to start it today, but I'm in the middle of like 6 books right now, so I probably shouldn't. And then again, with our Regency era, this actually might be Victorian. Yeah, this is Victorian era. Wisteria Society of Lady Scandals. I always mix up the title of this book and The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This book screams spring. Screams spring. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's just like a pretty outlandish comedy surrounding these women in the Victorian era. Like I think at one point they have like a flying motorcycle or something, like just like an outlandish tale, and I love anything Regency, Victorian, England-esque. I just feel like it screams spring. They have such beautiful springs over there, and the cover, gorge. Another book that I have that I would love to get to this spring is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klum. I feel like The House of the Cerulean Sea is often recommended for spring. I don't own a copy of that. I did almost thrift that one time, but I was like, you already own a book by him that you haven't read, so maybe not. Again, no idea what this is about. Probably wasn't the best thing to buy it if I had no idea what it was about, but I've heard that a lot of his books are very like whimsical and bright and springy and have like great vibes for this time of year, which is just all I want to read. Another book that I need to get to this spring, or like I honestly should unhaul it because I've owned it for so long, is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is like the OG YA rom-com. Everybody loves it, and I have tried to read it multiple times and just cannot get into it. I read The Do-Over by her and read it in like a day, so I don't know why like I have such a hard time getting through this one. I also read The Love Wager by her, which I also loved. I just think I honestly don't know how to feel about Lynn Painter. I've really liked some of her books and I've really disliked some of her books. I think this book, however, pretty well surrounds prom. Like prom is a big theme in this book, which obviously takes place in spring, and I just feel like it would be like a good spring pick, and it should genuinely take me like barely any time to read because I flew through The Do-Over. This one I absolutely have to get to this spring. Like I have to get to it this spring, and that is Anne of Green Gables. I can't believe I never read this growing up. I was homeschooled when I was younger, so we were all pretty big readers and we were all very much encouraged to read, and we owned all of these books, so I don't know how I never read this, but I never did. And I really want to watch Anne with an E on Netflix. I really want to watch that, and I just feel like I need to read at least the first one before I watch that, and I just feel like this will give great spring vibes. And then the last book I have, again, I don't know if this has spring vibes. I really have no idea, but the cover has spring vibes, and that is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Let me know in the comments, what's your like go-to nickname for Brandon Sanderson? I feel like Brando Sando is like the go-to, but I kind of like Brandy Sandy. I feel like Brandy Sandy is really funny, but yes, Brando Sando. This would be my first Brandon Sanderson book. This is one of his books that is, they're not like interconnected, I don't think, but they're a part of books that like he wrote specifically for his wife, that he didn't write with the intent of like making money from them or publishing them. Like he wrote them just for his wife, and I believe that this he wrote for her because I think her favorite movie is The Princess Bride, and that this has like Princess Bride vibes. I honestly don't really know what it's about. I just feel like the vibe of the cover, like the tea, and I think there's like a rat somewhere. Is it on this flap? Oh yeah, I was like, did I make up the rat? The tea, the little animal, like her little hair, to me it's just like giving spring. And I haven't seen The Princess Bride in years, but I feel like that movie also kind of gives spring. I could be wrong because like I said, I haven't seen it in years. But those are the 8 books on my physical TBR that I would absolutely love to get to. Obviously a couple of the new releases I would love to get to. Okay guys, my SD card was full, so I had to go through and delete some things, and I have no idea what I was talking about. But that's pretty much the end of this video. Please let me know what you guys have on your radar for spring, or if you have any like really good spring recs. I love like atmospheric reading, so I would love anything that's just like springy and florally and whimsical. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye you guys.